Sundays are my favourite day of the week because they're all about my plants. Plus, I don't have to spend an hour battling to get my kids off to school. They get the VIP treatment, spa day, hydration therapy, a little maintenance and occasionally some tough love. The plants, not the kids. They only get the tough love. My day starts with a cup of tea because even plant parents need watering. It's a moment of calm before the chaos begins, and let's be real, no one wants to deal with root rot or pest before a caffeine hit. I like to sip my tea while lovingly staring at my plants, convincing myself that today I'll finally get through the entire to-do list. Spoiler, I won't. I've got over 200 to tend to. I also use this time to ponder about the exciting project I've got coming up that I can't wait to share with you in a week's time. Have a guess what you think it is. The first task is a casual walkthrough of my plant collection. This is my chance to take in all the little details I might have missed during the week. I marvel at new growth like that tiny pothos leaf that wasn't there yesterday and celebrate the rare sight of a flower on my peace lily. Oh, that must have been a mirage. It's not all sunshine and roses. Inevitably, I spot yellowing leaves, signs of overwatering, oops, or worse, fungus gnats flying around like they own the place. It's equal parts joy and plant parent guilt. Once I've done my walkthrough, it's time to get organised. I grab my notebook and jot down the plan for the day. Today, it's a mix of watering, pest control, pruning, and maybe even some repotting. Writing it all down keeps me on track because it's easy to get distracted when your peace lily suddenly looks like he needs a Zimmer frame. Pest check is where things get serious. Armed with a torch, I inspect the leaves, stems and soil like I'm Sherlock Holmes solving a botanical mystery. I check the usual culprits for things like spider mites, thrips and mealybugs. It tends to be the exotic ones like philodendron that catch these things. Thankfully, it looks like there's no sapsuckers in sight. Probably. What about fungus gnats? Yep, still making my life a misery. I remind myself that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and then start mixing my trusty bug invigorator spray. This does absolutely nothing for fungus gnats, of course, which is a crying shame, but I've had a bit of a bug issue on this Philly Ferricosum. I think I may have won the war, but you can never be too careful, so I'm still spraying and praying. I carefully coat the leaves, making sure to get in all the nooks and crannies and underside of the leaves where the little gits love to hide out. All of this is pretty unglamorous as you can see, but it's necessary. Bugs dealt with. Next, I check on my wick watering setup. I created this in a hacks video last year. This system is a lifesaver for some of my plants, especially the ones that don't like to dry out completely. I'll top up the water reservoir and make sure the wicks are still functioning properly. It's like checking the oil in your car, unexciting but crucial for smooth operation. Then it's time for the most time-consuming part, the part that Mrs. Sheffield hates because I tend to get water all over the floor with my ape-handedness. Yep, watering. my routine is a bit of a faff, but my plants love it and it's all about them, right? I fill my bright red 6-litre watering can with my carefully crafted watering mix, which is water, of course, plus the secret sauce and where all the magic happens, a few drops of water conditioner and a dash of fertiliser. I feel like Tom Cruise in the 80s, at least that's what I tell myself as I make this concoction anyway. So let's go to work. Oops. See what I'm saying? I'm barely out of the door and I've already made a mess. Now, I've learned the hard way to check each plant's soil before watering. No one likes an overwatered monstera or a soggy fern. And for that, I use the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, you know it by now of course, the humble moisture meter. This fella is drier than the Sahara, so I best give him a trickle. I pour slowly into the pot. I'm a bottom waterer most of the time, you see, making sure not to flood the floor again. It's oddly meditative, I must say. This whole palaver will easily take me the best part of an hour and about 4 trips to the sink. So, doing the maths in my head, that's the best part of 25 litres of water for my 200 plus plants. That's a lot of water. It looks like some plants need a little extra love today, so I refresh the soil. For a few of them, I top dress with fresh potting mix. It's a quick and easy way to give the roots some breathing room and add nutrients. Plus, it makes the plants look instantly healthier and a hell of a lot smarter, which is always satisfying. Deadheading and removing yellowing leaves is next, along with a healthy dose of foreboding. But then I remind myself that the odd yellowing leaf is usually just par for the course. I only need to panic if the whole plant is on his knees. There is something so satisfying about snipping off those crispy, sad looking leaves and revealing a fresh, tidy plant underneath. And I do love a deadheading. The bigger the flower, the better. I collect the trimmings and add them to my compost pile because nothing goes to waste around here. Pruning is another task that's oddly therapeutic. I don't shy away from it, I embrace it. Hopefully my plants do too. I shape my pothos, trim back my overgrown philodendrons and make sure my tradescantias aren't getting too leggy, which is a battle in itself. Every cut feels like an investment in the plant's future growth. Long gone are the days where I thought pruning would set a plant back. It's quite the opposite in fact. What's the SMP mantra? They always grow back. The cuttings from pruning go straight into propagation. That's if I prune correctly. Cut below the node, I have to keep telling myself. I prep jars of water or make room in my prop box. I carefully place the cuttings inside and say a prayer. It's always exciting to see roots start to develop after a few weeks. While I'm at it, I clean the leaves of my larger plants. For my Kentia palm, I use a microfiber cloth and a bit of water to wipe away dust. Clean leaves mean better photosynthesis, and better photosynthesis means happier plants. It's a win all round. Repotting is the big task of the day, and something I most definitely do not dread. Mr. Monstera has been screaming for a bigger pot for weeks, so today's the day. I gently loosen only the most gnarly of roots. Place the plant in a larger pot. Dump in a load of fresh soil. Give it the old taparoo and then drown that sucker. It's messy but rewarding, I guess. For my climbing plants, I'm now in the habit of adding a support with either a moss pole or a trellis trellis. Unfortunately, this isn't the set it and forget it type of deal you think it would be. Anything that is supported needs constant attention, it seems, more so than the kids. A quick check shows a real mixed bag. The Monsteras are happily growing their roots into the moss, although they do seem to want to veer off course, but the philodendrons sure are struggling. Coaxing the area roots out of these bad boys takes a lot of effort. At least I got this though, my pride and joy. He's taken to this moss pole like a pig to mud. And this makes me feel like a plant parenting pro, I tell thee. Propagation plugs are another issue I'm dealing with. I carefully remove any plugs left behind from store-bought plants. They may seem harmless, but they can cause root problems if left in place. Next, I check on my propagation station and I'm thrilled to see roots growing strong. The sweat box is doing its thing of keeping humidity in, and the cuttings love that. This philodendron is growing some nice roots in water. This string of hearts propagation seems to be taking off, and even the Philly Melanocrisis variegated edition is coming on strong. I just need to figure out if this pitcher plant cutting will ever take off, one to keep an eye on. I reckon these philodendron cuttings are ready to be potted up, so I'll transfer them to their own pot and officially welcome them to the collection. Using a light meter, I make sure each plant is getting the light it needs. The results I get from this thing do shake me to my very core sometimes, which is why I've got so many Santi grow lights in my living room. Some plants get rotated to catch the sun, like this Schismatoglottis I got a few weeks ago. If I left him alone, then all the leaves would be doing a display for the garden and not me. The watering isn't quite done, because I've got semi-hydra fellows to deal with next. It's been a while since I got to them, and they've been sat in their own juices for a bit too long, so today is flushing out day. I rinse out the leca or pond under my tap to prevent salt build-up and refresh the nutrient solution. It is a bit messy with yet more water on the floor, but so worth it to keep the plants thriving. That's the line I give to Mrs. S. Before I finish, I clean the shelves and surrounding area. Dust, spilled soil, stray leaves get wiped away, leaving everything neat and tidy. Finally, I take a step back to admire the results. The plants look vibrant, the space feels fresh, and I'm reminded why I love this routine. Caring for plants isn't just about them, it's also a form of self-care for me. Sitting near my collection, I sip on my tea and reflect on how much joy these plants bring. It's the perfect way to end a productive day. Time to start being a father and a husband for an hour or so.